Growing up, my mother always told me, life is a race. If you don't run fast, you will never succeed. I was essentially taught that I had to be the best in everything and I had to excel in all areas. So when I got accepted to Duke 2 years ago, this was like the epitome of all my achievements. For my very Indian parents, that acceptance letter was like a trophy for them to show off. And I guess when they called up friends and family in the States and abroad, all this excessive attention kind of got to my head a little. Because by that point in second semester senior year and continuing on into my freshman year at Duke, I had already integrated Duke into part of my identity because I was so proud to be able to go to this amazing school and be a Blue Devil. But it wasn't until I went to my DukeEngage service in Orange County, California, that I realized this part of my identity could cause more harm than it did good. This past summer, my DukeEngage team and I partnered with Girls Inc., a nonprofit organization whose staff is mostly comprised of current undergraduate students at local community colleges and UC schools. Within the first 2 weeks we were there, we had the opportunity to meet them for the first time, which was super exciting. But I realized that there was something off about the way that they were interacting with us in the beginning, but I couldn't really put my finger on it. Then the camp coordinators introduced us to the rest of the staff as Duke. For the rest of the summer, we were just collectively referred to as Duke or Dukies. And I felt that we were also put on a pedestal by the camp coordinators because this was the first summer that Duke was partnering with Girls Inc. And I felt that a lot of attention was given to us because of our Duke label. And it was at this point I realized there was some tension between us and the rest of the staff, most of whom have worked with Girls Inc. for years. And I felt that all of their accomplishments were unnoticed because of our new presence as Duke recruits. I also felt that because of this Duke label, I had a hard time initially connecting with the staff that I worked with. I distinctly remember when we had to undergo a robotics STEM curriculum for the summer, I was expressing some confusion and frustration about a robotics activity that we had to do because I am a life science major. I know nothing about robotics at all. And I remember one of the staff members coming up to me and saying, well, you go to Duke, you should know this. This should be a breeze for you since you're so smart. This caught me off guard because I never expected that. I felt I had to hide my Duke identity in order to even have a chance of connecting with these staff members. I felt hurt because I wanted them to know me, as Rohini, not just Duke. Upon realizing this, I began to take more care in noticing how I presented myself to the staff. I made sure I didn't come off as a nerd, even though that was really hard to do, but I tried my very best, and I made sure I didn't come off as pretentious. But most of all, in this entire process, I made sure that I showed a lot of vulnerability and humility. And I really tried to drive home the point that I really looked up to these staff members as leaders, and I valued and respected all of their opinions and suggestions. And I felt that by the end of the summer, I accomplished my goal. I successfully integrated with the rest of the Girls Inc. staff and made some amazing connections with the staff members I had the opportunity to work with. And upon reflecting on it now, I realized my mother is a wise woman and she gave me great pieces of advice. But to her, success was defined by competition and getting ahead in life. But this summer taught me that sometimes you just have to take the time to really get to know the people that you run into, because it is in these moments you really get to build a stronger bond with them and get to know them on a deeper and more personal level. And by the end of it all, you are left with a friend, but more importantly, a bond that is unhindered by labels or stereotypes. And to me, that is a measure of great success. Thank you.